As people grow older, you might have noticed something important. Some seniors feel lonely and disconnected, while others stay close to their family and friends and enjoy life. This difference is not just because of getting older or having wrinkles. It's often about the habits and choices people make as they age. These habits can be small and quiet, but they have a big impact on relationships and happiness. We all change as time passes. Sometimes we develop ways of thinking or behaving that push others away without us realizing it. For example, someone might start complaining a lot or stop reaching out to friends and family. These habits can make life feel harder and lonelier. The scary part is that many people don't even notice they are doing these things until it's too late, and they find themselves feeling isolated. But there is hope. The good news is that these habits can be changed, and when you do, it can improve your life and your relationships. This story is about Julie, a 71-year-old retired librarian. Julie's experience shows how these habits can slowly take over someone's life, but also how change is possible and powerful. Julie used to be very connected with her family and friends. She loved spending time with her grandchildren, going out with friends, and feeling part of her community. But over time, certain habits crept in that made her more negative and closed off. She started to complain about aches and pains every morning, grumble about how the world was going, and even criticize younger people for being different. These feelings built up and began to affect how she talked to others. At first, no one said anything. But gradually, Julie's family and friends started to avoid long talks with her because her complaints made them feel unhappy. Even her grandchildren, who once loved visiting, found reasons not to come as often. Julie didn't realize what was happening because she thought she was just being honest. But in reality, her negativity was pushing people away. This is a common problem. As we age, our bodies change, and things that were easy before can become frustrating. We might feel tired or forgetful. Sometimes it feels good to vent or complain. But if negativity becomes the main way we communicate, it can hurt relationships. Julie's story teaches us something important: the energy we put out into the world comes back to us. If we want connection and love, we have to give it in return. That means choosing to see the good, sharing positive thoughts, and showing interest in others. In the next parts of this story, we will explore more habits that can affect seniors as they age, such as ignoring self-care, resisting change, holding on to clutter, and more. But for now, remember this: growing older doesn't have to mean growing lonely. Small changes in how we think and act can bring back warmth, connection, and joy. If you or someone you love feels distant or alone, know that it's never too late to change habits and rebuild relationships. The journey starts with awareness and the willingness to try. As people get older, it's easy to fall into habits that slowly push others away. One of the most common habits is becoming negative or critical without realizing it. This happened to Julie, the 71-year-old retired librarian from our story. At first, she thought she was just being honest when she shared her feelings. But over time, her small complaints and critical thoughts grew into a pattern that hurt her: relationships. Julie began her days with little complaints about the aches and pains that come with age. She would sigh and mutter about how hard it was to get older. While this might seem harmless, it started to affect how she saw the world. Watching the news made her feel angry and helpless, and she often compared the present to the good old days, saying things like, "Back in my day, people had more respect." These thoughts made her feel bitter and frustrated. Unfortunately, negativity like this can be a heavy weight, not only on Julie but also on the people around her. Her family and friends found it harder to spend time with her because they didn't want to be brought down by her constant complaints. Even her grandchildren, who used to love visiting, began to avoid her. What Julie didn't see was how her words were slowly pushing them away. Negativity can easily become a shield, a way to express pain or disappointment, but it often ends up isolating us instead of helping us. Life can feel overwhelming, especially when our bodies don't work the way they used to, or when the world changes in ways we don't understand. Venting can feel like a release, but when it becomes the default way we communicate, it creates a barrier between us and others. Changing. This habit starts with choosing to focus on something positive. Instead of beginning the day with complaints, try starting with gratitude. Say things like, "I'm thankful for this beautiful morning," or "The sunset last night was lovely." Positive thoughts have a way of spreading. When you share good energy, people feel drawn to you instead of pushed away. Another helpful way to manage negativity is to set limits on how long you allow yourself to vent. If something bothers you, give yourself a few minutes to express it, then move on to something more uplifting or constructive. Curiosity is also a powerful tool to replace criticism. Instead of dismissing things you don't understand, like new technology or hobbies your grandchildren enjoy, ask questions. Say, "Tell me more about that," or "How does that work?" This creates connection and shows you care. When Julie started trying these simple changes, leading conversations with positivity, showing genuine interest in her family's lives, and expressing gratitude, she noticed a big difference. Conversations lasted longer, people opened up more, and the warmth she had been missing came back. She learned an important lesson. The energy you give is the energy you receive. The second part of this journey teaches us that aging doesn't mean giving up on joy or connection. Even small shifts in our attitude and how we care for ourselves can bring us closer to the people we love. Taking care of your mental outlook is just as important as taking care of your body. In the next parts, we'll explore more habits that can affect seniors as they grow older, like ignoring personal care, resisting change, and holding on to clutter. But for now, remember that kindness, positivity, and self-respect are the keys to keeping your relationships strong and your heart full. As we get older, it's natural to feel comfortable with our habits and routines. Change can feel difficult, or even scary. This was true for Julie, our 71-year-old retired librarian. She had always liked things a certain way and didn't see much reason to change. For example, when her children and grandchildren started sending messages by text instead of calling on the phone, Julie resisted. She thought, "If they want to talk, they can just call me." She didn't want to learn new technology because it seemed confusing and unnecessary. But slowly, because she didn't join their new way of communicating, she started feeling more left out. The phone calls became fewer, and the family updates came mostly in group chats she refused to join. Without realizing it, Julie was closing herself off from the people she cared about most. Change is a natural part of life, even if it feels uncomfortable. It helps us stay connected, learn new things, and keep our minds sharp. You don't have to become an expert all at once. You can start with small steps. Let a family member show you how to send a simple text message or how to use an app. When Julie finally tried texting, she was surprised at how easy it was. More importantly, she felt connected to her family in a new way. She received daily pictures, quick messages, and reminders that made her feel included and loved. Another challenge that many seniors face, including Julie, is holding on to too much clutter. Julie was very sentimental and kept many things from her past. Old clothes, birthday cards, newspapers, and other items she promised herself she'd use someday. Over time, her home became filled with so many things that it felt crowded and overwhelming. Clutter doesn't just fill space, it can also weigh heavily on our minds. It makes it hard to find what you need and can even cause stress and anxiety. Julie's once cozy and peaceful home turned into a maze of stuff she rarely touched. She felt tired just trying to clean or move around. Letting go of clutter is not easy. Each item often holds memories or feelings, and it can feel like letting go means losing a part of yourself. But holding on to too much can trap you in the past and stop you from enjoying the present. The best way to start is by taking small steps. Pick one drawer, one shelf, or one box to sort through at a time. Ask yourself simple questions. Do I use this? Or, does this bring me joy? If the answer is no, it might be time to say goodbye. You can donate things that others might need, recycle what's no longer useful, or give special items to family members who will treasure them. Turning decluttering into a daily habit, even if it's just one item a day, makes the process less overwhelming and more manageable. When Julie began decluttering, she noticed a big change. Her home felt lighter, brighter, and more welcoming again. She was excited to invite friends over, something she hadn't done in a long time. Most importantly, she felt a new sense of freedom. Letting go of physical clutter helped her let go of emotional burdens, too. In this part of the journey, we learn that staying open to change and making space for new experiences are key to a happy, connected life. Whether it's learning new technology to keep in touch or releasing old things that weigh you down, these changes help us live more fully in the present. As we grow older, certain habits can quietly develop that make life harder for ourselves and for others around us. In Julie's story, two important habits stood out: losing patience easily and not listening well. Both of these can hurt relationships and create distance between loved ones. Julie always thought of herself as a kind and patient person, but over time she noticed that small frustrations made her snap or lose her calm. One day, while waiting in line at the grocery store, the young cashier was slow and nervous. Instead of being patient, Julie got annoyed and said, "Come on, hurry up." The cashier looked upset and shy after that. When Julie saw his face, she felt guilty. She realized she had become the kind of person she didn't like. Quick to judge and quick to lose patience. Losing patience doesn't just make things difficult for others. It also makes life harder for us. It raises our stress, clouds our thinking, and damages how we connect with people. The world doesn't always move at the speed we want. Sometimes things take longer, people make mistakes, or situations are different than we expect. Learning to pause, breathe, and remind ourselves that everyone is doing their best helps us stay calm and kind. Julie decided to try changing this by pausing before reacting. When she felt irritation rising, she took a deep breath and asked herself if it was worth getting upset. This simple step helped her respond with patience and kindness. Instead of snapping, she began to smile and offer encouraging words, which made a big difference in her interactions. Another important habit Julie needed to work on was listening. She loved to talk and share stories, memories, and advice. Over the years, she had become known as the family storyteller. But her daughter told her something that surprised her. "Mom, I love talking to you, but sometimes I don't feel heard. It feels like our calls are all about you, and I never get to share my thoughts." Julie was stunned. She realized that, in her excitement to share her wisdom, she often interrupted or didn't give her daughter a chance to speak. Listening is just as important as talking in any conversation. When we don't listen, we risk pushing people away even if we don't mean to. Julie learned that good conversations require balance. She started asking open-ended questions like, "What's something exciting that happened this week?" Or, "How are you feeling today?" She made a real effort to listen carefully without interrupting. This simple change made her conversations longer, warmer, and more meaningful. By listening better, she rebuilt closer relationships. The final habit in this part is about asking for help. Julie had always been very independent. She was proud of doing things on her own and helping others. But as she got older, some tasks became harder. One day, while carrying heavy groceries, a kind young man offered to help. Julie said no, wanting to manage on her own. but inside she felt tired and lonely. Refusing help can isolate us. Asking for help is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of strength. It allows others to show they care and builds connection. When Julie learned this, she promised to accept help when offered. The next time the young man offered to carry her bags, she smiled and said, "Yes, please." This small act made her feel connected, supported, and less alone. In this part, we see how patience, listening, and accepting help can improve our relationships and reduce stress. These habits remind us that we are all connected, and kindness and openness bring us closer together. As people grow older, it's important to find balance in life between saving for the future and enjoying the present. Julie, the 71-year-old retired librarian from our story, had always been very careful with money. She saved diligently and avoided spending on things that weren't absolutely necessary. She worried about unexpected costs and thought she needed to keep her savings safe just in case. One day, Julie's best friend invited her on a weekend trip to the countryside. At first, Julie hesitated. Traveling meant spending money, and she worried she might regret it later. But then she realized something important. When was the last time she really enjoyed herself? She had been saving money for years, but not using it to make happy memories. Life isn't just about saving. It's also about living fully. Spending money on experiences like trips, meals with friends, or hobbies brings lasting joy. These memories stay with us long after the money is spent. Objects and possessions lose their value over time, but the happiness we gain from shared experiences lasts forever. Julie decided to give herself permission to enjoy these moments. She set aside a small fund just for fun and said yes to her friend's trip. The experience reminded her how wonderful it feels to laugh, relax, and connect with others. Another important lesson Julie learned was about respecting younger generations. She loved her grandson Noah, but sometimes she would talk down to him or criticize his use of technology and games. She might say, "Back in my day, kids didn't spend so much time on screens." Unfortunately, these words made Noah feel hurt and less willing to share his life with her. Every generation has its own challenges and ways of living. Instead of criticizing, it helps to listen and show curiosity. When Noah told Julie about a new game or app, she tried saying, "That sounds interesting. Can you tell me more?" This simple change helped them connect. They shared stories and laughed together, building a stronger relationship based on respect. Finally, holding on to grudges and regrets can weigh heavily on our hearts. Julie had carried past hurts and disappointments for many years. Thinking about these painful memories made her feel sad and distant from the people she cared about. Holding on to anger is like carrying a heavy backpack everywhere you go. It tires you out and blocks your happiness. Letting go of grudges doesn't mean forgetting or excusing what happened. Instead, it means freeing yourself from the pain and choosing peace. Julie found that forgiving others and herself helped her feel lighter and happier. Forgiveness is a brave act of strength. It opens the door to healing and allows us to enjoy the present moment. Holding on to bitterness also harms our health. Stress, high blood pressure, trouble sleeping, and weakened immune systems can result from ongoing anger and resentment. Releasing grudges improves not just our minds but our bodies too. Julie wrote down her feelings on paper and then let them go, symbolically releasing her past pain. This helped her feel free and hopeful about the future. She realized that life is too short to carry old wounds. In this last part of the story, we learn 3 important things. Enjoy life's moments, respect others, especially younger generations, and let go of grudges to find peace. These habits help us live happier, healthier, and more connected lives. Julie's journey shows us that no matter our age, it's never too late to choose joy, kindness, and forgiveness. When we do, we open ourselves to love, laughter, and meaningful relationships.